Welcome to the devotional series, A Psalm a Day Keeps Satan Away, the podcast edition, episode 63, subtitled Seeking Discomfort. And I'm Pastor D. Walk. Psalm 63, a David psalm, when he was in the desert of Judah. O God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My body longs for you in a dry and weary land where there is no water. I have seen you in the sanctuary and beheld your power and your glory. Because your love is better than life, my lips will glorify you. I will praise you as long as I live, and in your name I will lift up my hands. My soul will be satisfied as with the richest of foods. With singing lips, my mouth will praise you. On my bed I remember you. I think of you through the watches of the night. Because you are my help, I sing in the shadow of your wings. My soul clings to you. Your right hand upholds me. Psalm 63, verses 1 through 8. Well, in the last cycle of the Psalms back in 2024, prior to the podcast, as I was preparing for Psalm 63, I had a thought. So I texted Steve the Rev Allen, who is the chairman of the esteemed Psalm a Day Keeps Satan Away Research Institute, and one of my oldest friends. And I mean old because he is old, and also because he's one of my longest tenured friends. And I asked Steve, quick and off the cuff, 3 thoughts on what the Israeli desert means to you. And he responded back. 1, discomfort is a teacher. 2, comfort is usually not. And 3, the Hebrew word for desert has as its root the word davar, which means word. So if you go to the desert and you listen, you can hear a word for your life. Today's psalm is a desert psalm and also a psalm of trust and confession of faith. Here the psalmist proclaims, O God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My body longs for you in a dry and weary land where there is no water. For the Rev and for me, the desert is our favorite place to go in Israel. We both lead trips there to the Holy Land, and we love to take people to the desert to hike for a bit. And usually, that doesn't really matter what time of the year it is. It's between 105 and 112 degrees, but it is a dry heat. And it's quite barren, and it's quiet. And in that quietness, God speaks. In the quietness and that heat discomfort, God has a word for your life. The desert becomes a metaphor for the pain and suffering each of us feels at various times in our life. In the desert, you also have the opportunity to meet others who are going through their desert times. The desert actually is a place of community. You cannot survive the desert alone. You endure desert hardship together and overcome it together. It may seem counterintuitive, but I am convinced that our faith journey must include desert time. It must include emotional, spiritual, and/or physical discomfort, and maybe even a little bit of pain. Now, I'm not speaking about the kind of pain that comes from an abusive relationship or some sort of a disease that we would want to seek. Those things for sure we're not going to seek. But we do want to seek opportunities to push our discomfort because we are in a comfort crisis. Steve is right. Comfort is usually not a teacher. So how can we seek discomfort? My friend Tim and I had a recent conversation about this, and Tim seeks discomfort by training and competing in Spartan races. The whole process is not fun, and it certainly isn't comfortable. But he will attest to the fact that this experience provides incredible self-discovery and growth, both physically and spiritually. He also highly recommends a book called The Comfort Crisis by Michael Easter. I've read that book as well and would recommend it, but please note the language is salty and it is a secular book, and so the worldview from which it is written is an evolutionary worldview. But having said that, there are some great statistics and some great evidence that goes along with the idea that discomfort can be your best teacher. I'm going to close with another discomfort seeking experience that I have participated in for many, many years. During my tenure as the minister to students at First Baptist Hickory, we would share an experience of discomfort each summer through our mission trips. And it was during one of those mission trips that we decided to change the name of our group to Embrace. And that came from this following story. It was a Tuesday, I think it was in Wilmington, North Carolina, after one of the hurricanes. And in the evening, after we would do our work day and have supper and some worship, we would gather together as a ministry and just kind of go over the day and have a short devotional. And I would use the technique called a word of the day for that exercise, where I would ask a student to describe his day in one word. And James Ingram, one of our scrubs, I think he was in the 11th grade at the time, raised his hand and said his word of the day was frustration, because it was a Tuesday night and they still didn't have the materials they needed to complete the job that they were assigned to do down in Wilmington. Now, if you've been on mission trips, you know that this is not an unusual circumstance. One of the discomforts of a mission trip is you never have the material that you need when you need it. So James was complaining. Actually, he was whining about the situation. And I finally said to him, you know what, James? Sometimes you just have to embrace the suck of life. And a new name for our ministry was born that night. We changed our name to Embrace because we wanted to communicate to our students that the experiencing of discomfort together in community is the path to spiritual growth, and it becomes a witness and a testimony to all that is good about God. We also changed our tag verse from the Bible to 2 Corinthians 12:10, which says, "That is why, for Christ's sake, I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then am I strong." So, Psalmodayers, today I urge you to seek discomfort and embrace the suck of life. God will have a word for it in your life if you do. And if you respond well, your witness and testimony to God will be enhanced. Godspeed and shalom. Pastor D. Walk signing out.